Now the floor is for Mr. Haik Mamijanyan from Armenia. I again remind the speakers, please start by identifying the topic you wish to raise. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the first day of this session, we had a debate about Azerbaijani aggression against Armenia. There's a saying, don't thank for the truth, but I do have to say thank you for having the courage to speak up the truth. Of course, I mean those who did it in this hemicycle and all others who weren't deaf to the voices of my people. That type of courage, unfortunately, became a rare bird in our woods. But the discussion didn't involve issues regarding Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. We haven't spoken about the people who believed that 5 statements of the world leaders in the framework of OSCE Minsk Group regarding self-determination of Nagorno-Karabakh meant something. People who peacefully lived in their homeland and hoped that words non-use of force had power. They were cruelly deceived. Because of the foolish diplomacy of the current government of Armenia, the idea of diversification of Armenian-Azerbaijani relations and Nagorno-Karabakh conflict is becoming reality. The world is going to leave small Artsakh alone with Azerbaijan.
Please, one point of order, stop, please.
Debate can be discussed, issues that are not on the agenda. In this session, we have already discussed the Armenian-Azerbaijan conflict in detail. Therefore, I'd like to ask you to interrupt this speech immediately.
Indeed, Secretariat and myself, I expressed at the beginning these topics, urgent affairs topic and current affairs topic. 1 minute. Okay, later. But you continued. Now, okay, for Vladimir Vardanyan, another point of order, okay?
Honorable Chair, you are acting now as the chair of this plenary. And I'm not a native speaker, but the word "three" mean that everybody can discuss the issues which were either covered or uncovered during discussions. This is the first. The second, respectful chair of this parliamentary assembly session should do not interrupt the speeches of the orator. If there is a need of point of order, you may provide it between the speeches, but not interrupt the speaker. It is against the values of this organization. It is against the human rights, and this is against the principles of parliamentary democracy.
It's about a different topic. Let him carry on with his speech.
I didn't intend to interrupt any speaker, but I had to take any point of order. I did them truly. Now, what I wish that the speaker continues, but it gives the right to next delegation to speak on the same subject. Please continue, conclude your speech, please.
First of all,
1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, if you interrupt my speech once, you have to do it again for the point of order. And afterwards, I will continue.
Yes, Ruben. Yes, take it.
Mr. Yildiz, continuing my colleague's arguments, which are all true, Mr. Mamijanyan was actually talking about the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, which was not covered during the current affairs debate. I reiterate that you have no right to interrupt my colleague's speech, and he has not to continue his speech, but he has to speak again as long as he wishes to. Thank you, and please, I understand that you are from Turkey, but you are not from Turkey in this context. You are chairing this session, chair it neutrally. Thank you.
Interrupted. I'm sorry. Okay, give him 3 minutes, because
Mr. Sado for the point of order.
Another point of order? Yes.
Mr. President, thank you very much. Again, sorry for interrupting again, but this is not right and this is not according to rule. If you allow to speak this gentleman, in this case, we have the right as a representative of Azerbaijani delegation, because at the beginning we have accepted and we have decided not to cover this question. But if this gentleman is going to speak about the question which already have discussed, in this case, please allow to the representative of Azerbaijan to speak exactly in the same matter. Thank you.
Speaker should continue.
Yes, now let's continue this session. And the colleague concludes his speech. We will continue on the list.
This is what happens when good people don't speak. And this is what I was talking about when two delegations have a right to try to decide which delegation will and will not speak. And I will end up my speech till the end. Because of the foolish diplomacy of the current government of Armenia, the idea of diversification of Armenian-Azerbaijani relations and Nagorno-Karabakh conflict is becoming reality. World is going to leave small Artsakh along with Azerbaijan. Unfortunately, that story is not going to end like David and Goliath. And make no mistakes, not because of lack of will to stand up for their future of the people of Artsakh. It won't end up that way, because in the history of international relations, conflicts of self-determination never were resolved by the negotiations between metropolis and the minority. It will end up the same way it ended for the woman who was tortured and killed by the Azerbaijani soldiers. I'm not neglecting the importance of the issues discussed in these chambers, but I do believe that mutilation of a female soldier who was stripped naked and had a text written on her breast and stomach, had a stone placed in her eye socket and a severed finger in her mouth has at least same importance that the discrimination of women in the world of sports we have discussed yesterday. It will end the same way it ended for Armenian soldiers, POWs captured by Azerbaijani troops and killed just for fun, just because they are Armenians. I know that some of you are fed up of us speaking about this issue, and some of you are horrified by the things I have just said. But if the status of Nagorno-Karabakh will be left out of scope of the Armenian-Azerbaijani relations, be sure that my future speeches about people of Nagorno-Karabakh in pace will be much more horrifying and maybe even will be written in the past tense. Dear ladies and gentlemen, if you continue not to speak the truth and neglect what is happening in our region, especially in Nagorno-Karabakh, it will be very hard to clear the smile that I saw on the face of the chair while trying not let me to speak. Thank you.
Just to clarify, I didn't interrupt any speaker. I just took the point of order as I have to do. This is the case.